Hey guys, I want to introduce you to something I've been using for not quite a year. If you guys look back to the Xtar videos, there's a Meteor and the wk-26 and 25B. And in that video I had mentioned, you should really look to using a flashlight, EDC or otherwise, that takes advantage of the higher powered lithium cells. Well, one thing that it kind of got away from was the Goal Zero setup that I had come to really kind of use a lot in the summertime, only because I have access to a ton of AA's for wildland fire. But this guy is set up pretty slick. It's designed to use with a solar, but you can charge it with USB, and then it outputs USB. So you're able to store your solar power, energy in these AA's, and then expend it at night by charging your cell phone. Well, if you're not using a AA powered sort of EDC light, and you're using, like an 18650 that I'm using with my Zebra light, or any number of, if you're using the 14500s that was in the WK26, or currently I'm using them in a Sparks headlamp, which is basically the AA version of lithium ion. As you can see, that fits in there. This is where the wp2 really shines. Now, you can't use it with both cells like you would with the Goal Zero, but it has two settings for charging, and as you can see on there, there's a USB output. So if I put this over to 0, and I brought my cable here, one of the things, if you're looking for size comparison and just the amount of power, 4 AA's on average, I'm not talking actual specifics of milliamp hours and what cells you're using, on average I could get a full charge out of 4 AA's, especially if I was using, maybe half a charge sometimes off of these cheap Rayovacs we were getting this summer. But I'm going to show you, there's my phone charging. And I will tell you, it's actually very similar cells as far as their capacity. Most cell phones that I know are around a 1500 to 1700 milliamp 3.7 volt cell. Now, it's a flat pack cell that's in there, and your 18650s are 3.7 volts. And however, this happens to be a 3100 milliamp. There's always going to be some power loss when you start swapping stuff back and forth. At least it's with DC to DC. Any of you guys that run inverters know that there's a huge amount of energy loss when you convert back and forth from an AC system to DC system. Without getting incredibly complicated and boring in this, it is something, if you guys are looking for something to power and charge your 18650s for your EDC lights, if you've taken my advice and maybe you're running some larger lights that run 18650s, and you're in the backcountry and you want to have something that can possibly charge your phone without having to go to something, an added expense of, say, get a Brunton. And I'm going to have some other reviews coming up of this Brunton and some other things that kind of meld into this. But the Xtar, the only downside I've found on this is it doesn't allow you to charge with USB. And so what I've had to do is I got a setup for a DC car charger, and I'm able to put this into my Goal Zero solar setup. So with this, I'm able to run a 12 volt powered out with the solar cell, and then go into the Xtar. And it does take a while. These are high powered anything, cells. So your smartphones are a very powerful device, and so are the 18650s. So it does take a little while to get that kind of thing charged. But it also, with the 12 volt, adapter, I was able to keep my 14500s for my headlamp this summer charged using the truck power while we were moving around, and just to make sure that I had plenty of these guys powered, the Trust Fires, for my headlamp for wildland fire. As some of you guys have been following the channel, we did a lot of night shifts this summer, a lot of burnouts, which are generally at night, and so definitely needed a lot of high-powered headlamp work. And you kind of had to have batteries, and we'll get into that in a separate review with that Spark. But It's a neat way to make sure, this is sort of your lifeline, whether you're in the backcountry or wildland fire. Nowadays, a lot of people can't quite live without this, but because these do so many things, whether it's GPS and you're relying on them for so many things, it really behooves you to have some sort of a system where you can keep your phone charged, or keep other USB devices charged for that matter, using this. The only thing, like I said, I wished it would do is I wish I could run a USB input like the Goal Zero setup. But you've also got to decide what you're running. So 4 AA's or one 18650 to charge your smartphone. So if you're running 18650 for your main light, this system makes sense. The Xstars are very affordable, and from what I've been testing, I've had great success with their durability. And I'll see if I can put some links down below, maybe, of some better reviews if you guys are more interested in the technical aspects of this. And yeah, I thank you for watching.